everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Alyssa. The book we're gonna go over today is The Art of Communication. I just took some notes on it. We start off with communication with others. He was saying water and flower them with goodness. He says a lot of things that relate to like gardens. You know, treat everyone like they are a garden, blossoming beautiful fruits and everything as well too. And just treat everyone with that respect and that specialness. Next, we need communication with ourselves. This, in my opinion, is the most important communication because we are with ourselves all day, every day. There's no escaping us, no escaping yourself. Self-talk is the most important aspect that you can master. I say this in a lot of my videos, but pretty much like manifestation, like whatever you tell yourself, it's going to happen. So if you tell yourself like, oh, I'm just stupid, you're going to start taking subconscious actions and becoming that stupid person that you believe you are. If you say, wow, I'm so intelligent, you're going to start taking small steps to become the intelligent person that you are. It's all about what you say to yourself and how you talk to yourself. So you need to treat yourself gently and kindly. And one thing that I keep in mind whenever I like wake up in the morning and I don't feel like waking up sometimes is treat yourself like it's another person you're taking care of. So it's you taking care of yourself, but pretend like it's you taking care of your younger sibling who's like just trying to figure out life, and you're just like, hey, this is what you should be doing. And just tell yourself that and take those actions to do it. Next point is communicating through breath, which that one sounds a little weird, but he's saying be aware of where your breath is, which reminds me of another quote that says, I need to be where my feet are. So where your breath is, where your feet are, kind of same concept. It's be present in the moment, in that place where you are. Like say you're standing in line at a coffee shop or something, and you can talk to the people around you. You don't have to be on your phone, focused on something else that's forever away. Focus on what you need to be doing, standing in that line, communicating with others around you, enjoying the present moment, because that's a moment that you can't get back. Those people are never going to be in line right in front and behind you again, or if they are, that's like some type of way crazy weird coincidence. So be where you are, be where your breath is. Non-thinking and non-talking. It's pretty much just being zen and just being peaceful and just being there. Again, with being where your surroundings are, but this is instead, you know, just like empty your mind. And for me, I don't know, like I kind of imagine X-Men thing similar to Cerebro, where you go and then you're just like, okay, now this is what I'm going to focus on, this is what I'm going to do. But you're in one place and you're also millions of other places. So that's what I kind of imagine. But he's saying perceptions and misperceptions of non-thinking and non-talking is basically to be within yourself, not anything that's going around outside. Now we move on to suffering, which he's pretty much focused on for like the rest of the book, but I actually found very useful. For suffering, we have to face it and understand the nature of our suffering. And so to do that, we have to use understanding. You have to understand what the cause of that was and then the deeper root into it. The suffering is like the tree leaves, and you have to look at the branches and you go down to the bark, and then you finally go down to the root of the problem. Once you kind of find that, you treat it with compassion, and you just pretty much like ruin all of the roots of the suffering, because you're like, listen, I'm sorry that happened. Or, you know, just treat it with the most compassion that you can muster up. Just the most you can muster up, that's fine. That will turn into love. And then love will turn the suffering into happiness. That is the sequence that he was saying to go through. Next, we are on keys to communicating with others, which I think is super important because communication, you know, humans need humans. People need people. We cannot survive on our own without a community, because we just aren't designed to be like that. First thing he says is to always say hello. Whenever you walk into a space, he was saying, you know, you walk into work and you say, hello everybody, you know, and you just greet everybody. That's going to be a lot of a different day than if you just go in, don't say anything to anybody, just sit at your desk and do what you gotta do. Sometimes there's, you know, days where that needs to come into play, but most of the times you want to build your community and build a trust and a bond with people around you, even though they don't realize, you know, like, hey, her saying hello builds a trust and a bond in me. No, they just think you saying hello is very nice and friendly. You're just more on their mind than the person who's just like, I'm ignoring you, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. So always say hello. and show God and love. For him, he was saying show soul and love or spirit and love or something like that. For me, it's God. So show God and love to people that you know and that you don't know, and just everybody. Next is deep listening. So he's saying make sure y'all understand each other. So whenever someone is talking, you can hear them or you can listen to them. There's two very different things. Let's put it like this. It's the difference between listening to a song in the car and driving and trying to focus on the road, and stopping and hearing the lyrics and hearing the message of the song. That's the difference between hearing and listening. Next, he says we need to use loving speech with everybody, which I definitely agree with. You cannot, well, I guess you can get places, but like you shouldn't be getting places by using hate and just spewing things like that out to other people, because it doesn't benefit either of y'all, and it just makes one of you look like an ass and the other one look like a victim, and nobody wants to be an ass or a victim, and nobody should be an ass or a victim. You just need to go and spew love. He was also saying speak correct for the situation. And an example he gave, a little kid asked, well, this butterfly died, I guess everything dies, will I die? And the man was like, no. You don't want to be the one to tell, like, a small kid asking, will I die? And just being like, actually, yes, we all die. There's a time and a place to tell a small kid that, what the circle of life is. Maybe just put on like the Lion King or something. He was saying to speak in truth and love as well too. So I feel like those two things can kind of like get a little bit twisted sometimes. To speak in truth and love, he was saying, is basically to be speaking through your heart and to the other people. And so hopefully they can see that and embrace and want to be similar to that. And then the last thing he said for this little section is space to find a home in yourself. You need to build yourself, your composure, just everything into such a loving manner that anytime you want to retreat, you can, and you can feel free and feel good about it, instead of being like, okay, well, now I'm just stuck with myself and I hate when this happens. You want to go ahead and build a home in yourself to where you are even comfortable to go and just be like, I need some me time, I need to relax, I need to get out of the environment that I'm in for a little bit and just introvertness, and let's go meditate. Next subject he talks on is anger. We need to handle our anger with tenderness. Very similar to suffering, same steps and everything. I feel like suffering and anger are about the same thing. I feel like anger is because of the suffering. So like, I guess, yeah, suffering and then the anger. So you need to go back, like, why are you angry? What caused you to suffer? And then go through, the branches to the trunk to the roots. Next, he's talking about helping each other to suffer less. We must understand and then use compassion. So same formula as before, but this one, instead of having to figure out, like what is wrong with ourselves, we're gonna have to figure out, what is wrong with the other person. Like, what are they going through? Why are they upset? And then all these different steps and everything as well too. That one can be a little bit more tricky sometimes, just because you don't want to be like prying into the person's business and be like, hey, what's going on? Looks like you're suffering. I'm here for you. Instead, to be like, hey, like you don't have to open up to me. Just, we'll leave that as is. But to go up to the other person and to say, if you need anything, I'm here for you. Those words are so powerful. I think I spoke in the last video or something about, basically like I don't have a friend anymore because of that. Because whenever I needed someone, he was never there for me. Whenever someone is in need of another person and they go to you, it means that they have so much trust and belief instilled in you that you're their go-to person. You're the person who's there to make everything better. So just letting the other person know, hey, I will be your person. If you need to talk to someone, I'm here for you. If you need literally anything, come to me because I'm here for you. To have someone that's that person is the most valuable friendship or relationship that you could ever have. So letting the other person know, hey, I'll be your person. That is so valuable. Also with that, he was saying, don't wait for the other person to go to you. Don't wait for someone to reach out and say, hey, I need a friend, and to be like, no thanks. Just go out to the other person and say, hey, If you need anyone, I'm here for you. Next, he talks on speech and practicing compassionate communication. He was saying our words have an impact on others, obviously. But the example he gave was money. Was talking about money. And he was saying, imagine whenever you were younger. I don't know if y'all went through this, so maybe just imagine in your head a kid. And they hear their parents arguing and everything. They're like, wow, that must be awful, but you're just hearing it. And whenever you go to listen and you hear, they're arguing about money and they're arguing about finances and you're like, this is why, blah, 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 blah. And, just then that little kid, he's like, oh. And they have those words that y'all said to each other, even though you may think it's just to one another, affects others around you, especially if those others happen to hear you. So yeah, so that's the example that he gave, and he was saying that we need to have something similar to a tea time. And so this tea time is where you pretty much like go out into your garden of life. He didn't say this, but I am. You just go out into your garden of life, or your garden of wherever you're comfortable. It could be in a library surrounded by books. You have your tea time. It doesn't have to be actual tea. It just needs to be a place where you go and once again kind of like introvert yourself and go within and start finding out, like, hey, what's been going on with you? What's been bothering you, or what's been making you happy? And just kind of talk to yourself in that loving, compassionate way until you can find out, like, hey, this is actually what's been going on, and that explains a whole lot of everything in my entire life. So he was saying, take a break and be in the moment. That's basically tea time. One of the last things he says is to write a love letter, which I've actually done for one of my friends because him and I were joking around, and he's still one of my best friends. You need to write a love letter, something just full of, for me, I wrote, like from the beginning of our relationship, from like the first time that I saw you to now, and this is everything that's been going on in between. These are all my emotions and everything as well too. And this is written with love, and this is written with care, and I love you, and this is why, pretty much. Like that's the love letter. So he was saying you need to look deeply into the nature of your relationship and address that in the letter. And whenever you start writing the letter and at the end of the letter, you will never be the same person. So I write letters, not letters, but like I'll write down my things in here. I mean, I've even noticed that whenever I write in here, I'm not the same person at the beginning and at the end of this. You can read that and like see the difference in my letters and everything. So I'll go through and I'm just realizing different things. So whenever you write down things, I feel like it's just a very good way to get a better hold of yourself, a better understanding, which can be what your tea time can be, which is, just sitting there and just writing down stuff. So that is The Art of Communication. I am Melissa Gonzalez, and I hope y'all come back for next week's book. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I will go ahead and leave the link to the book down below, as well as my books playlist, which is just different books, audiobooks that I've listened to, and different books that I've done reviews on as well. So if y'all want to go ahead and check that out, that'll be in the description down below. If y'all have any questions or have any book suggestions, let me know in the comments as well, or if this video was just helpful to you, let me know as well too. I always love good feedback, and I mean, whatever feedback really. Help me improve, everybody. All right, bye guys.